Part 16. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 151. At this time, half an hour had passed since Yang Lin entered the mountain. During this half hour, Sheng Tianlong and several members of the program team kept guessing why Yang Lin suddenly chose to enter the mountain. I don't even understand what he was doing that took him so long. The rain and flash floods have stopped, why hasn't Taoist Yang come back yet? Yeah, it's been more than half an hour. It's strange to say that not long after Taoist Master Yang left, the rain stopped and the flash flood stopped. Could it have something to do with him? It shouldn't be possible. It's just a coincidence. I'm afraid there are monsters in this mountain, as rumored outside. Just as they were talking about it, there was a loud noise from above the valley. And this sudden loud noise once again reminded everyone of Yang Lin. Because the direction of the explosion was clearly the direction Yang Lin went just now. It's hard not to associate the two. And just when they were about to further speculate on the relationship between the two, a figure walked out of the dense forest in the valley. It's not Yang Lin or anyone else. The heavy rain had just stopped at this moment, and the entire mountain was surrounded by clouds and fog. Surrounded by these clouds and mist, Yang Lin, wearing a Taoist robe and carrying a sword on his back, looked like a fairy. What everyone couldn't understand was that just now Yang Lin clearly went up the mountain in the heavy rain, but now there was no water stain on his body. There is not even a trace of mud on the upper surface of the shoes. Even the ends of the hair are dry. Could he really be a god? Besides Sheng Tianlong, Long Wu, who was wearing a black training uniform, looked solemnly at Yang Lin, who was slowly walking towards them. He didn't understand before why Taoist Yang Lin gave him such a strong sense of crisis. But after seeing a series of strange things about Yang Lin, he faintly noticed something. Just when everyone was shocked by Yang Lin's current state, Yang Lin's voice suddenly came. I've kept you waiting, let's get going. According to our current journey, we should arrive at the Dragon Vein at sunset in the evening. After hearing Yang Lin's words, everyone immediately came to their senses, and Sheng Tianlong showed an impatient look. Then let's go, Chief Taoist. During the conversation, everyone once again set out on the road to find the dragon's lair. During the rest of the journey, no one encountered any other mishaps. At most, they encountered some wild animals that were not too aggressive, and were dealt with quickly by Long Wu and other professionals. It was similar to what Yang Lin said. When the time came to about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, a continuous mountain peak appeared in front of everyone's eyes. From a distance, it looks like a spine. With such a strange shape, even ordinary people have realized that this continuous mountain range is not simple. So much so that some viewers in the live broadcast room who had watched several live broadcasts immediately became excited. This should be the Dragon Vein that Yang Lin found on the satellite map before. It really looks different. Yes, it looks like a big dragon coiled there from a distance. 9 mountains are connected into one. It's majestic, but I feel a little weird. I don't know where the dragon's lair is. While the audience was talking a lot, Master Huang, who had been following Sheng Tianlong, also took out a compass. After some investigation, he immediately nodded to Sheng Tianlong. After receiving Master Wang's affirmation, Sheng Tianlong was immediately overjoyed and quickly looked at Yang Lin aside. After a long while, Yang Lin finally spoke. The Burial Sutra says that the best method of feng shui is to get water. Although there is no open water here, there is an endless underground river flowing under the mountain. The dragon veins here are thin, curved and dense, and the 9 peaks are connected together, just like a young dragon, with a potential of 95 and an unlimited future. Originally, there was no hole here, but the heavy rain just now opened up an opening at the dragon's tail, and then formed the only positive hole in this dragon's vein. It seems that you, Mr. Sheng, are indeed the Blessed One. As soon as Yang Lin said this, Shen Tianlong, who was already excited, burst into laughter. Okay, okay, it seems that God will not kill me, and I am destined to succeed in extending my life. In that case, what are we waiting for? After saying that, he was ready to go to the place Yang Lin just mentioned. But at this moment, the sun was gradually setting in the west, and a wisp of red cloud suddenly fell on the mountain peak in front of them. As soon as these visions appeared, Yang Lin's originally calm face changed color instantly. At the same time, he hurriedly stopped Shen Tianlong. Wait a minute, there's something wrong with this dragon lair. Suddenly hearing Yang Lin's words, Shen Tianlong, who had walked a few meters away, immediately stopped. Taoist priest, is there any problem? Everyone else also turned their attention to Yang Lin at this moment. After Yang Lin counted with his fingers, the solemn look on his face became more serious. Although this is an excellent dragon's lair, the bloody light above the dragon's veins at this moment is a sign of great misfortune. The dragon's lair formed at this time may be a ferocious dragon. If Mr. Shen chooses to plant Genji here, you can successfully extend your life, but under its influence, your descendants will definitely kill each other and not end well. As soon as these words came out, everyone present was shocked. At the same time, they also looked towards the top of the mountain that Yang Lin mentioned. Sure enough, the original glow had turned into a blood-red color, even dyeing the entire mountain peak completely red. It is indeed somewhat unlucky. No, it can't really be that mysterious. On such a mountain, the descendants of the gambling king can kill each other. This place does look a little bit evil. But it doesn't matter. After all, being born from seed basically damages one's moral character, and it's not normal for it to harm future generations. Then if I am infertile, how should you deal with it? There are dragon caves that can extend life. Are there any dragon caves that can make you rich if you bury them? I want to book one for my dad. Is there anything I can do to boost my career? I have to take the provincial exam tomorrow. Is it too late to move my father's grave now? I think I asked Yang Lin to come to my hometown to help me see if there is anything wrong with the feng shui of the cemetery in my hometown. I'm almost dying of poverty. Just as the audience expressed their opinions, Shen Tianlong coughed violently. After he coughed up blood from the corner of his mouth, he said to Yang Lin with a sad face. Taoist priest, old man, I have no time left. The doctor has given me an ultimatum. I only have half a month to live at most. So I can't wait any longer. As for the blessings and misfortunes of my children and grandchildren, I have no control over them. As long as you, Taoist master, help me successfully plant Genji, I will immediately transfer half of my family property to you. There is no doubt that Shen Tianlong is determined to plant a foundation here. But at this moment, bursts of rumbling sounds suddenly came from the distant sky. A helicopter flew over quickly amid everyone's doubtful gazes. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 152. At first hearing the sound of the helicopter, everyone present thought they heard it wrong. It wasn't until they looked up and saw the approaching black shadow that they realized this was not an illusion. Several members of the program team immediately looked at Shen Tianlong. The king of gambling is the king of gambling, and he is escorted by helicopters when traveling. Yeah, that's the card. It's estimated that after the matter is over, they will leave directly in a helicopter. Then can we sit on it together? What are you thinking about? Apparently several members of the program team thought that the helicopter was arranged by Shen Tianlong. On the other side, Shen Tianlong and others also showed doubts after seeing the helicopter. Daozang Yang, was this helicopter arranged by their program team? As soon as Shen Tianlong said this, several members of the program team were obviously stunned. Ah! Isn't it your helicopter? Of course not. We came here in a hurry and didn't prepare for this at all. Then where did this helicopter come from? It seemed like it was flying towards us. Just when everyone was looking at each other, Long Wu, who had been following Shen Tianlong, raised his eyebrows. Mr. Shen, there is something wrong with this plane. As soon as he finished speaking, there were bursts of fire on both sides of the helicopter, followed by a clicking sound. Amid the horrified expressions on everyone's face, a small mound not far in front of them was filled with dust and rocks flying everywhere. In an instant, everyone immediately realized what had happened. Long Wu, who has rich experience, immediately shouted loudly. It's a heavy machine gun. There's a heavy machine gun on that helicopter. Everyone, get out of the way. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone was so frightened that they broke into a cold sweat and hurriedly looked for cover. Long Wu himself also immediately protected Shen Tianlong and ran behind a big rock. On the other side, the program crew, who were almost scared out of their wits, hid behind a pile of rocks under the leadership of Yang Lin. During this process, the older Master Huang was accidentally hit by a stray bullet, and a bloody hole the size of an egg appeared on his thigh. The bright red blood instantly dyed the yellow sand on the ground red. When this scene fell into everyone's eyes, everyone who was already nervous felt their hearts beating wildly. They couldn't figure out how they could be attacked like this for no reason. The audience in the live broadcast room on the other side had already exploded. Oh my God, are you sure you're not watching a movie? Why is there a terrorist attack? This change is so sudden, I feel numb. How come it suddenly turned into an exciting battlefield when we agreed to find the dragon's acupoints? Sure enough, Yang Lin's live broadcast room has surprises waiting for us every day. I witnessed the gun battle from the first-person perspective. My palms are sweaty now. I feel like I am right there and about to be killed by a heavy machine gun. What on earth is going on? Who is on the plane? Are they here to kill Du Wang or Yang Lin? Killing Yang Lin shouldn't be enough, so I think there is a high probability that he is here to kill the gambling king. That's right, he is just a star. As for others using helicopters and heavy machine guns. However, just as the audience was thinking this, the direction of the gun on the helicopter changed. He actually let go of the boulder where Shen Tianlong and others were hiding, and instead fired wildly at the pile of rocks where Yang Lin and others were hiding. Judging from this posture, it seems that Yang Lin and several members of the program team are going to be beaten directly into a sieve. Although the camera lens at this moment was not pointed directly forward, everyone could directly feel the huge noise caused by the impact of bullets and rocks. It felt like a bullet had hit him directly. At this point, how could they not understand that this was clearly aimed at Yang Lin? The program team quickly realized this. While curling up his body desperately, he suppressed his fear and asked Yang Lin. "Teacher Yang, who have you offended?" "Yes, and it's clear that I want to kill you." "Oh my God, I'm not going to die here today." I'm still young, I don't want to die yet." Listening to everyone's questions, Yang Lin was not surprised at all. Instead, he glanced at the hiding place of Shen Tianlong with a strange expression. Sure enough, cause and effect are not so easy to bear. If you inherit his cause, you will suffer his consequences. But why didn't they kill Shen Tianlong directly? Instead, they came to kill Pandeo. Wouldn't it be easier to kill Shen Tianlong? Yang Lin's muttering to himself immediately attracted the attention of several members of the program team. "Mr. Yang, you mean that they came to kill you because they wanted to kill Shen Tianlong? Are they trying to prevent Shen Tianlong from extending his life? Who would do such a thing? Of course it depends on who is the biggest beneficiary of this matter. You mean the descendants of the gambling king?" "I didn't say it, I just guessed it." Almost instantly, they guessed who was the real culprit behind this incident. And how could Shen Tianlong himself not think of the things they could think of? He was hiding behind the boulder now, his face full of anger. "You traitor! You traitor, I never thought you could do such a thing. Are they so eager to inherit my family business? As soon as he finished speaking, he looked at Longwu beside him. Mr. Longwu, you have to think of a way. Taoist Yang must not die. If he is going to die, who will plant the raw material for me? These traitors hope that I will die early, so I will live to show them. Upon hearing Sheng Tianlong's request, Longwu's face suddenly showed a wry smile. Although he has experienced countless battles, big and small, he has even seen situations more complicated than this. But at this moment, he was alone after all, and he had no weapons at hand. It was difficult for him to protect himself, let alone protect another person. Thinking of this, he immediately looked towards the place where Yang Lin and others were hiding. I saw that after continuous strafing, the upper layer of the pile of rubble had basically been flattened. According to this situation, it won't take long for Yang Lin and the others to be beaten into a hornet's nest by heavy machine guns. Unless they can move to other places under fire coverage at this moment. But this is obviously more difficult than climbing to the sky. Just when he couldn't help but let out a long sigh, a figure suddenly walked out from behind the pile of rocks. Then he heard a crisp sword cry. The next second he saw a scene that he would never forget. I saw a little Taoist priest wearing a blue robe casually pointing his finger, and a long sword fell into his hand from behind. In an instant, bright sword lights appeared in front of him. Wherever the sword light touched, huge heavy machine gun bullets were split in half. In an instant, there was a hill in front of him. Not to mention wounds on his body, even the corners of his clothes were not damaged. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 153. As the former king of mercenaries, Longwu believed that he could not survive for 3 seconds when faced with heavy machine gun fire. Not to mention knocking the bullet down. But now he saw something. A man split countless flying bullets in half with just a long sword in his hand. Not to mention how difficult it is to split a bullet in half, but based on the rate of fire of a heavy machine gun, it can easily take thousands of rounds per minute. How fast is the reaction speed to intercept all the bullets? At this moment, his worldview was shaken. And just when Longwu seemed to have seen a ghost, Sheng Tianlong and the people accompanying him were watching Yang Lin's performance with dull expressions. Is this still a human being? Can a sword stop a bullet? Am I dreaming? Crazy, I must be crazy. After the shock, everyone also looked at Sheng Tianlong. Old Sheng, where did you find this strange man? You have known for a long time that this Taoist priest is so powerful, right? Facing several people's questions, Sheng Tianlong was stunned for a moment and then said with a wry smile. How did I know that Taoist Master Yang is not only proficient in Feng Shui and Kanyu divination, but also proficient in swordsmanship? No, this is no longer swordsmanship, this is magic. In fact, they were not the only ones who felt this way at this moment. In a helicopter high above the sky on the other side, a group of blonde and blue-eyed foreign mercenaries armed to the teeth had the same look in their eyes after seeing the extremely unreal scene in front of them. A look of disbelief flashed through. Oh my God, what is this? Dragon Kingdom Kung Fu. I knew that people from the Dragon Kingdom were all good at Kung Fu. I was deceived by those Dragon Kingdom people on the internet. More money, you must add more money, this person is too difficult to kill. No wonder there has been a rumor in the circles that the Dragon Kingdom is a restricted area for mercenaries. It turns out that is the case. After this job, I will never come to the damn Dragon Kingdom again. RPG. Heavy machine guns can't kill him. As everyone in the helicopter realized that Yang Lin was not something they could kill easily, they quickly came up with the trump card they brought this time. While talking, a bearded man took out a grenade launcher from the cabin, pointed the crosshair at Yang Lin, and pulled the trigger. The next second, a grenade with a long flame tail flew towards Yang Lin's position. When this scene fell into the eyes of Long Wu and others, their faces immediately showed horror. Even if they were beaten to death, they would never have imagined that this group of people would actually have such weapons in their hands. It's over, I'm dead now. Mater, where did these people come from, and how could they even get such a weapon? Run, run, we will be affected later. Taoist Master Yang is dead this time. No matter how good his skills are, he is still afraid of cannonballs. We can't control him now, we have to survive first. In a hurry, several people prepared to escape, and although Shen Tianlong's eyes were full of unwillingness, he had no choice at the moment. After all, he also knew that in the face of heavy firearms such as grenades, human flesh and blood alone could not resist it no matter what. But while they were running for their lives in a hurry, Yang Lin showed no intention of dodging. He didn't even see any movement, and a piece of gravel flew towards the cannonball. After flying into the air, the gravel collided with the cannonball at a speed that violated the laws of physics. When it was still more than 50 meters away from the ground, it was directly hit by gravel. Boom! Everyone only heard a loud noise, and then saw a ball of flame explode in the sky. The smoke and dust brought out by the shock wave from the explosion almost made it impossible for them to open their eyes. When they opened their eyes, they discovered that Yang Lin was standing in the same place intact. As for the previous cannonball, it has long since disappeared. But combined with the sound and flames just now, everyone immediately made a bold guess. He blew up the cannonball. Although this guess is a bit far from reality, it couldn't have been caused by someone else's cannonball blowing up in mid-air. How is this possible? Is he really a human? Fairy? Monster? Different from the incredulous expressions of everyone, Shen Tianlong's face was filled with ecstasy. At this moment, in his heart, Yang Lin's life was equal to his. The Taoist master is truly a god. This is God's destiny not to let me die. Just as he couldn't help but laugh, the foreign mercenaries on the other side of the helicopter also opened their mouths wide. Others didn't know how the grenade exploded just now, but they could see it clearly from the sky. They saw with their own eyes that a stone exploded a grenade flying in the air. In their opinion, this is even more exaggerated than using a sword to chop bullets. This feeling is no less than that a group of primitive people pierced the tank with spears. After a long while, they finally recovered from the shock caused by Yang Lin. Witchcraft. This is Dragon Kingdom witchcraft. That man is the wizard of the Dragon Kingdom. It's horrifying that we're actually fighting a wizard. He might have put a curse on us. We won't make any more money, so run away. After realizing something was wrong, these mercenaries from abroad also panicked and immediately turned around and left. But before they could make any move, a mercenary holding a telescope to observe the situation below suddenly showed a look of horror. Oh my God, that wizard opened his mouth. Go, go, go. Before everyone on the helicopter could figure out what opening their mouths meant, a white air sword sped towards them. It was so fast that they didn't even have any time to react. The sharp air sword split the entire helicopter in half like cutting tofu. Boom! There was another explosion, and two flaming fireballs fell from the sky, and then hit the open space not far away from Shen Tianlong and others. In an instant, the place turned into a sea of fire. And the foreign mercenaries inside didn't even have a chance to escape. When this scene fell into the eyes of Shen Tianlong and others, they couldn't help but tremble all over. Others didn't know what happened just now, but they saw it clearly. They saw with their own eyes that Yang Lin just exhaled and the helicopter that was flying in the sky was cut in half. Then it exploded on the spot. If it weren't for the heat wave and the thick burnt smell that came from time to time, they would even think that they had just hallucinated. A man actually shot down a helicopter with just one breath. What a ridiculous thing. Unconsciously, they all swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and looked at Yang Lin with a hint of awe. At the same time, Sheng Tianlong also made a decision in his heart. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 154. Listening to the explosion sound caused by the helicopter crashing, no one present could react for a long time. At this moment, the audience in the live broadcast room was as anxious as ants on a hot pot. "Cameraman, are you still here? Give me a frontal shot. I just heard the sound. What happened? Why is there still the sound of explosion? Did the other party use missiles? Is there a possibility that the cameraman has been beaten into a sieve? I'm not kidding, don't die in my phone. 3,000 yuan a month, why are you risking your life? And the front camera is on. Today is a great experience. I can also see this kind of war scene. Although I can't see the picture, it's still more exciting than watching a movie. Yang Lin can't be beaten to death, right? Who wants to kill him? Is the entertainment industry already so difficult that it's worth using a helicopter to assassinate? Just when they were secretly speculating about what happened, the camera lens finally started to move. The next second, a big face covered with smoke and dust appeared in front of the audience in the live broadcast room. Fortunately, the camera was not damaged and the live broadcast equipment was not damaged. Otherwise, how much money would we have to pay? Needless to say, this person is the cameraman accompanying the program team. After he picked up the camera, he immediately used the lens to look around. Everyone also immediately saw the burned helicopter with only wreckage left. There was also Yang Lin and others who were unharmed. Immediately, the audience in the live broadcast room exploded again. Ah, what happened just now? How did that helicopter crash? Yeah, was it the driver's error? Are you kidding? Those who perform such tasks are basically international mercenaries, the elite among the elite. How could such a mistake happen? Then tell me how the helicopter came down from the sky. Could it be that someone shot it down? As soon as these words came out, everyone unconsciously turned to Yang Lin, who was located in the lower right corner of the camera. At this moment, he was no different from before. There was no embarrassment in his body, and even the hair on his head that was randomly pulled up with a wooden hairpin was not messy. Not to mention the Taoist robes he was wearing. And this image was in sharp contrast to the others present. Compared with Yang Lin, everyone in the program team and Sheng Tianlong and others were as if they were in trouble in the Middle East, and Master Huang, who was lying on the ground, was about to faint from pain. So that everyone had to make a ridiculous guess. This helicopter couldn't have been shot down by Yang Lin, right? Now it seems that this is the only possibility. Jump into the air and then cut the helicopter into two pieces with one sword. Stop talking, I've already started to imagine the scene in my mind. It's also possible that he jumped up and pulled the helicopter out of the sky with one hand. You mean Yang Lin still has to turn green all over, right? My idol is a swordsman. This is so cool. And while the audience in the live broadcast room was speculating a lot, Sheng Tianlong and other people at the scene walked respectfully in front of Yang Lin. The attitude is even worse than before. Even the professionals invited by Sheng Tianlong from abroad lowered their heads when facing Yang Lin. They are not afraid of a Taoist priest who knows the art of Feng Shui, but if a Taoist priest who can destroy a helicopter with just one breath gives them 10 more courage, they don't dare to make a mistake. Taoist priest, it's really thanks to your presence just now, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. Don't worry, when I go back, I will definitely find out who did this. After saying some powerful words, Sheng Tianlong quickly observed Yang Lin's expression. What made him a little confused was that Yang Lin didn't seem to take what happened just now at all. Instead, he focused on looking at the previous mountain peak shrouded in red light. Following his gaze, he saw that the entire mountain peak was illuminated by the flames produced by the helicopter explosion, like a fire dragon born out of fire. This dragon vein is going to rise to the sky with the help of fire, and seeing the light of blood, I'm afraid he will be frightened. If we let him escape this time, we don't know when we can find him again next time. We can't let it run away like this. Before Shen Tianlong and others could react what Yang Lin meant, Yang Lin flew up in front of them. Through some tall trees on the side of the mountain peak, we arrived at the foot of the continuous mountain peak in a few climbs. Seeing this scene, everyone didn't understand what Yang Lin was doing. Until he held the sword in one hand and flew to the cliff of the mountain peaks. He stayed in the air in front of the cliff in an attitude that violated the laws of physics, which immediately stunned everyone. At this moment, the audience in the live broadcast room was even more excited. I blanch, doesn't he have anything to hide? It turns out that it was true that he stepped on his left foot and went up to the sky with his right foot. He was actually flying. In the martial arts movies, there are no scenes where Wei Ya is as ridiculous as him. Let him take over the fairy tale movies. I'm not kidding. The cliff of a few hundred meters can be climbed easily. The Red Bull Death Squadron is simply weak compared to him. He also said there are no gods or ghosts in this world. But then again, what is he planning to do? Is it related to that dragon vein? Just as everyone was stunned, Yang Lin, who flew up to the cliff, immediately stabbed the bare rock on the cliff with the long sword in his right hand. In an instant, sparks flew everywhere, and when the tip of the sword touched those extremely hard rocks, it was like cutting tofu. It easily left deep scratches on it. And as Yang Lin's figure moved around in the air, soon there were large areas of mysterious runes on the entire cliff. It wasn't until this moment that everyone vaguely realized what Yang Lin was doing. Even the half-dead Master Huang lying on the ground couldn't help but show wonder in his eyes after watching Yang Lin's actions. To actually choose to force the dragon veins to stay, this is such a divine method that has created so many heavens and earth. We and other ordinary Feng Shui masters have been taking advantage of the situation all our lives, but he can actually directly use the force to forcefully change the energy of the mountains with human power. As soon as he said these words, Shen Tianlong on the side cast a doubtful look. Master Huang, what on earth are Taoist Yang doing? Hearing Shen Tianlong's question, Master Huang first sighed and then answered. He is locking the dragon, using Taoist secret techniques to lock the dragon's veins so that it cannot escape. If I had known that you, Mr. Shen, had invited such an expert, I wouldn't have joined in the fun. This would make me look old and conspicuous. After saying this, he realized the injury on his thigh again, and screamed in pain. At the same time, the long sword in Yang Lin's hand on the other side also carved the final stroke on the cliff. In an instant, the entire mountain peak seemed to sense something, and it began to tremble inexplicably, like an earthquake. In a daze, everyone seemed to hear a suppressed dragon roar. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 155. I don't know how long time has passed, but the mountain peaks that were slightly shaking have also become flat, and everything just seemed to have not happened. But the faint sound of dragon roar just now and the methods Yang Lin used are still lingering in everyone's minds. It wasn't until Yang Lin's figure flew down from the direction of the cliff and came to everyone's side that everyone finally calmed down. Before the eager Shen Tianlong could speak, Yang Lin said calmly. It's okay. This dragon vein has been forcibly locked for 20 years by Pandeo using Taoist secrets. 20 years from now, there will be an earth dragon turning over here, and both the dragon veins and the dragon caves will turn into nothingness. So Mr. Shen, you must ask your descendants to come here in 20 years to take out the raw materials you planted. Shen Tianlong, who was still a little overwhelmed at first, could no longer suppress his joy after hearing Yang Lin's words. That's great, Taoist Master Yang. It's really thanks to you being here this time. If you weren't here. Before he could finish his words, his expression suddenly changed, and then his whole body twitched, and a stream of blood mixed with visceral fragments spurted out from his mouth. Seeing this scene, Shen Tianlong's entourage was immediately shocked. Shen Tianlong came with them this time. If he really died on the way, they would certainly be responsible. Maybe the Sheng family would really take revenge on them. Mr. Shen, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me. Mr. Shen, hold on, we can plant the foundation soon. Huang Lao, you know the art of Qi Huang, why don't you come and see Mr. Shen? Everyone panicked and turned their attention to Mr. Huang, who was lying on the ground. It seems that due to excessive blood loss, Mr. Huang's face is quite ugly at the moment. But he finally crawled to Shen Tianlong. After checking Shen Tianlong, his expression changed instantly. Old Shen, this is a relapse of an old illness. If the qi of the 5 internal organs cannot be seen, I'm afraid he will die soon. Just as he finished speaking, a Buddhist amulet fell out of Shen Tianlong's sleeve. The moment it fell out, the amulet immediately broke into 2 halves. Seeing this Buddha amulet, Long Wu on the side immediately picked it up with his hands. Then he said in a shocked tone, "This is the Buddhist amulet given by the White Dragon King of Siam. Did Mr. Shen go to see the White Dragon King before?" As soon as these words came out, a young man responsible for taking personal care of Shen Tianlong nodded. Yes, a few months ago, Mr. Shen made a special trip to Siam to find the White Dragon King. This amulet was given to Mr. Shen by the White Dragon King. The White Dragon King once predicted that as long as the Buddhist amulet breaks into pieces, Shen Lao will die and even the gods will not be able to save him. Listening to the young man's answer, some of the people present were shocked, while others were confused. Even Yang Lin was full of curiosity about this so-called White Dragon King. In his opinion, although this Buddha amulet is not a formal magic weapon, it must have been enshrined in some relatively large temples, and it is contaminated with a lot of karma. And the person who can easily give out such a semi-finished magic weapon must not be an ordinary person. Thinking of this, he immediately asked a program staff member on the side, "Do you know this White Dragon King?" As soon as this question came up, most people looked puzzled. Only the accompanying lighting engineer seemed to have thought of something. This White Dragon King seems to be a famous master of metaphysics in Siam. Legend has it that he can predict the future and give orders to people. Many senior artists in the circle have approached him, and all of his prophecies have come true, including several king-level figures who have received favors from the White Dragon King. Furthermore, he provides free medical treatment or fortune-telling, and is highly regarded by the big guys in the circle. After listening to the lighting engineer's explanation, not only Yang Lin suddenly realized, but also some viewers in the live broadcast room started talking about it. Is this White Dragon King really so awesome? Why have I never heard of him? Is there a possibility that they only serve the big guys in the industry, so they don't make it public? I heard people talk about it when I traveled to Siam before, and even went to visit it, but there were too many people at that time and I couldn't squeeze in. And it's said that the White Dragon King doesn't like everyone, it all depends on fate. If you don't know, you can go to Kandu. It will definitely subvert your knowledge. If the White Dragon King said that Shen Tianlong must die, then he would never survive. Then whether Shen Tianlong can survive this time depends on who is more profound, the White Dragon King or Yang Lin. I'm standing by Yang Lin this time because I'm his zombie fan. Is there such exciting content to watch again? I asked my mother to cook later. While everyone in the live broadcast room was waiting attentively for the further development of the matter, Shen Tianlong, who had just spit out a mouthful of blood, spit out a mouthful of blood again. For a 90-year-old man, this amount of bleeding is enough to kill half of his life. And his complexion became like gold paper with this mouthful of blood. For a moment, everyone present looked at Yang Lin. There is no way Shen Tianlong is their employer. When he came here, he only paid a deposit and the balance has not yet been settled. While everyone was praying, Yang Lin casually took out something from his sleeve and stuffed it into Shen Tianlong's mouth. In the next second, Shen Tianlong's complexion improved at a speed visible to the naked eye. Seeing this scene, Master Huang on the side also showed a hint of desire. To his surprise, Yang Lin reached into his cuff again and took out a coin-sized ginseng slice from inside. This is a century-old ginseng. I don't think charging you 200,000 is too much. Master Huang didn't react yet when he suddenly heard Yang Lin's words, but when he glanced at the ginseng slices in Yang Lin's hand again, he nodded repeatedly. With his eyesight, he could naturally see that what Yang Lin said was not false. After Yang Lin handed him the ginseng slice, he immediately took it into his mouth. At the same time, Yang Lin looked at Long Wu. Everything Shenles Hong needs for Shenji has been prepared. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Wu nodded repeatedly, turned around and took out a mahogany box from the package he carried. After Yang Lin took the box, he walked in the direction of the dragon vein without saying a word. The few rising and falling figures had disappeared, leaving only the expectant crowd and Shen Tianlong, who was seriously injured and on the verge of death. Even the audience in the live broadcast room couldn't help but feel anxious. Can the so-called method of regeneration really save a person who is about to die? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 156. Since the show started airing, Yang Lin has saved several lives under the witness of the audience. He once used Zhu Yishu to borrow his life, and he also used the 13 golden needles of Ghost Gate to check acupoints. But compared with the previous times, this time it was obviously more difficult. Because the person who needs to be treated is not only a 90-year-old man who is seriously ill and dying, but also a person who was predicted to die by the White Dragon King. More importantly, the method Yang Lin chose to save people this time was more illusory than before. With many questions and expectations, the audience in the live broadcast room quickly followed the cameraman's perspective to the dragon's lair that Yang Lin had mentioned before. Looking at it, there doesn't seem to be anything special in the surrounding area. If there is any difference between this place and the surrounding area, it's probably that the trees here are more prosperous than other places. One of the trees, which is more than 10 meters high, is particularly obvious. Upon closer inspection, it turns out to be a large pine tree with tangled roots. While the camera crew of the program was still looking around, Yang Lin was already walking straight towards the big pine tree. Seeing this scene, several members of the program team hurriedly followed. Teacher Yang, is the dragon's cave here? There doesn't seem to be anything special here. Yes, just burying it here can extend your life. Then can I bury something here? Everyone thought that Yang Lin would not answer their boring questions, but what they didn't expect was that Yang Lin answered seriously after looking at the big pine tree in front of him. If just anyone could see the difference in Dragon Cave, wouldn't the world be in chaos? If you look carefully at this big tree, haven't you noticed that its shape looks a bit like something? As soon as these words came out, several people immediately took a serious look at the big pine tree in front of Yang Lin. Before they could say anything, many viewers in the live broadcast room already let out bursts of sighs. I can see it. This big tree looks like a dragon. It's really a dragon body, dragon claws, and the bark on its body also looks like dragon scales. I just said why this tree looks different. But what does this have to do with the dragon's lair? Could it be that it grew like this because of the dragon's lair? Just as the audience in the live broadcast room saw the clues, the program team members who were acting as mouth substitutes also looked at the big pine tree in front of them in shock. Teacher Yang, this tree looks so much like a dragon, maybe it has something to do with the dragon's veins. As soon as they finished speaking, Yang Lin nodded. Yes, this big pine tree happened to grow at the junction of the dragon veins. It was nourished by the dragon veins' earth energy and underground water source, so it grew taller and bigger, and it gradually transformed into a dragon. It's a pity that this world doesn't have the opportunity to become enlightened. Otherwise, it might be able to have greater fortunes. So that's it. After receiving Yang Lin's explanation, everyone in the program team and the audience in the live broadcast room suddenly felt a sense of enlightenment. But at this moment Yang Lin continued to say, "Since you are here, just help Pandeo dig a big hole about 1 meter deep in front of this big tree." Ah! Faced with Yang Lin's sudden request, everyone in the program team was stunned for a moment, and then immediately found digging tools aside. At the same time, the group of people accompanying Sheng Tianlong on the other side were already a little impatient. Because as time goes by, Sheng Tianlong's aura is obviously weakening. If this trend continues, it is estimated that it will only last for more than 10 minutes at most. In an instant, Long Wu and the others became anxious. How reliable is that Taoist Master Yang? What if Mr. Sheng dies and his foundation has not been planted yet? And as far as I know, it takes time to gain vitality, so it can't be immediate. Then what do you think we should do now? Apart from trusting him, we don't seem to have any other better way. How about we go over and take a look now, one of the attendants suggested cautiously. As soon as he made the suggestion, everyone immediately shook their heads. Are you crazy? Have you forgotten how fierce Taoist Master Yang was just now? If you interfere with what he is doing, he will chop you with a sword. As soon as these words came out, they once again thought of the magical methods Yang Lin showed just now. They immediately gave up their plan to step forward to see the situation. Compared to them, the audience in the live broadcast room was also a little anxious at this moment. Especially when you see a few people from the program crew digging holes there slowly. Can you guys dig faster? If you don't dig well, the old man will die. That is to say, it doesn't matter if the old man dies, Yang Lin's reputation will be ruined. Yes, I can't get the money either. Come on, you guys. Just as the audience was cheering for the program crew, Yang Lin took out the box that Long Wu had handed to him before. When he opened the box, he found a piece of paper with his birth date written on it, a lock of hair, a tooth, a piece of nail and an old piece of clothing. There is no doubt that these are the materials needed for the seed foundation, and these things are also closely related to Sheng Tianlong. These things will be buried in this dragon cave instead of Sheng Tianlong. However, Yang Lin was not in a hurry to put these things into the ground at this moment. Instead, he took out a cinnabar pen and yellow paper from somewhere. With a flurry of strokes, yellow talismans were born in his hands. Then he affixed all the yellow talismans on the trunk of the big pine tree. By the time he finished all this, the program team had just dug the hole. "Teacher Yang, the hole has been dug, what do we need to do next?" Hearing this voice, Yang Lin, who had just finished drawing the talisman, picked up another yellow talisman between his middle and index fingers. He saw that the yellow talisman burned out of thin air with a slight shake. Go. After a soft drink, the burning yellow talisman fell into the pit. At the same time, he did not forget to put together another yellow talisman and the things needed for Sheng Tianlong's seed to regenerate. The next second, he walked step by step to the pit with the wooden box in his hands, and then respectfully put it into the bottom of the pit. During the whole process, the program team did not even dare to make a small sound, for fear of disturbing Yang Lin's practice. Just when they were watching with gusto, Yang Lin started chanting a spell. With the gestures and steps, it looks a bit serious and mysterious. It wasn't until more than a minute later that he stopped moving and said loudly to several members of the program team, "Backfill all the soil you just excavated, and try not to miss any more." After hearing what Yang Lin said, the program team dared not to follow it. With the concerted efforts of several people, The pit was soon completely backfilled. What was just dug out was now put back into place. Apart from the fact that there is no grass on it, there is basically no trace of soil being disturbed. Just at this time, everyone suddenly felt a vibration in the earth. It was like an earthquake. When the members of the program team came to their senses, the scene in front of them made them dumbfounded. I saw that the place where they had broken ground before had disappeared, and the grassy area seemed to have been dug out of thin air. This is the mission dragon summoning talisman. The foundation has been planted, and the dragon's cave will naturally disappear. You should just think that the earth's crust has contracted. As soon as Yang Lin finished speaking, there were waves of surprise sounds not far away. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 157. Below the nameless mountain, as Yang Lin successfully helped Sheng Tianlong complete the seed rebirth ceremony, the exclamations of Long Wu and others could be heard not far away. Suddenly hearing this voice, the hearts of several members of the program team couldn't help but feel a thump in their hearts. In their opinion, there was only one possibility that could make Long Wu and others lose their composure like this, and that was Sheng Tianlong. It's over, we've wasted too much time, and the old man didn't hold on. This is how to do it. Teacher Yang, your client is dead. It's all our fault. We dug the hole too slowly. For a moment, everyone blamed themselves, but at this moment, Yang Lin did not panic at all, and instead showed a smile at the corner of his mouth. Let's go back and check the situation. As he spoke, he walked towards his previous position amidst the puzzled looks of several members of the program team. Upon seeing this, several people from the program team quickly followed. But when they came out and saw the situation in front of them, they couldn't help but show a hint of surprise. I saw Long Wu and his entourage tightly surrounding Sheng Tianlong. Sheng Tianlong, who had been dying before, suddenly woke up. Although he was still very weak, at least he didn't look like he would die immediately. After being surprised, several people immediately looked at Yang Lin. Oh my God, are you saved? Of course he was rescued. Otherwise, could it still be a fake corpse? With just a little bit of tinkering, a dying man could be forcibly revived. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. Obviously, it was not just the program crew who were shocked by this, but even the viewers in the live broadcast room were exploding one by one at this moment. I am completely convinced. Whoever says that Feng Shui and numerology is a feudal superstition in the future, I will tell him. Aren't you trying to compete with the Lord of Hell for business? I wish I knew such a skill, so I could give myself unlimited refills. Are you kidding? Do you think dragon veins and dragon lairs are so easy to find? Dragon cave and dragon veins are second, mainly the technology of seeding, and Yang Lin's appearance fee. That is to say, the gambling king has given half of his net worth as reward. What can you give? I can also give half of my net worth, isn't it just 2,000 yuan? I thought Yang Lin was going to overturn this time, but I didn't expect that he succeeded. What kind of principle is this? Why can people survive by burying those things in the soil? Don't try to study the principles of this. There are many things we humans currently know that we haven't fully studied yet. Then again, the gambling king really has another 10 years of life. Why does it feel a bit mysterious to me? Whether you want it or not depends on what Mr. Gambling King says. Just when the audience in the live broadcast room was shocked by the final result, Sheng Tianlong slowly stood up with the support of Long Wu and others. What made everyone even more incredible was that he could still walk on his own. Daozang Yang, it seems that you have saved this old man's life. After arriving in front of Yang Lin tremblingly, Sheng Tianlong said with a smile. When Yang Lin heard this, he said calmly. The health foundation has been planted. If nothing else happens, you have successfully extended your life by 10 years. but your vitality is severely damaged this time, and you will need to use medicine to recuperate after you return. Hearing Yang Lin's words, Sheng Tianlong nodded quickly. Thank you for your concern, Taoist priest. I will definitely follow your instructions. His respectful attitude at this moment could not tell that he was a gambling king. However, just when he thought everything was fine, Yang Lin added another sentence. In addition, you must remember what Pandeo said before, that seeding a child will harm your moral character and will definitely harm your descendants. If you don't want to have no one to die with in your later years, I suggest you do more good deeds. If possible, it's best to have a statue of a god worshipped at home. As soon as Yang Lin finished speaking, Sheng Tianlong frowned. Obviously he had thought of what happened before, although those international mercenaries did not reveal their identities until their death. But he could probably guess that this matter must be related to his children. Thinking of this, he immediately took the mobile phone from the entourage and dialed a number on it. After the call was connected, he said in a deep voice, "Lawyer Zhang, I want to change my will." The call lasted for several minutes, and everyone who heard the call showed disbelief. Because during this call, Sheng Tianlong divided all his net worth into two parts, one of which was directly inherited by Yang Lin. The other part was divided into two parts, one part was divided equally among his children, and the other part was used as a charity fund. Everyone originally thought that Sheng Tianlong's previous statement that half of his net worth would be somewhat watery. But he didn't expect that he would directly donate half of his property to Yang Lin as a legacy. You must know that Sheng Tianlong's family fortune exceeded 80 billion 10 years ago, and it must have exceeded the 100 billion mark by now. Half of it is tens of billions, which is absolutely an astronomical figure. Just when everyone was shocked, Sheng Tianlong also spoke again. Daozang Yang, it's like this. Although Lao Chen has some assets, most of them are fixed assets, such as real estate, bonds, companies, etc. These assets cannot be liquidated immediately, and it is very troublesome to change the equity, so my idea is that from this moment on, half of the dividends and profits of my industry will belong to your name, and I will manage it on your behalf. When I am no longer in this world in 10 years, these properties will be completely in your name. What do you think? After he proposed this idea, he looked at Yang Lin cautiously, fearing that Yang Lin would not agree with the plan. But soon he breathed a sigh of relief. That's fine. Pandeo doesn't have that much energy to manage your industries. Professional things should be left to professionals. In fact, this is exactly what Yang Lin wants. If Sheng Tianlong really throws a lot of property to him, he may not be able to play well, and his biggest purpose this time is not for Sheng Tianlong's assets, but for the huge karma on his body. Now that he is fine, he can just wait for dividends every year. As for 10 years later, he may not be in this world. In this way, both parties also reached an agreement. In order to show his sincerity, Sheng Tianlong finally provided 1 billion as an advance payment and transferred a resort in Jinghai to Yang Lin's name. At this moment, Yang Lin suddenly felt a huge amount of karma pouring into his body crazily. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 158. Feeling the raging karma in his body like a flood, Yang Lin's originally smooth face also showed a slight change. It's so huge. It's worthy of being the king of gambling. It has to affect so many people's lives to produce so much karma. While sighing in his heart, he also forcibly suppressed his inner excitement and turned to the people on the side and said, "It's getting late now, so why not camp here and go out at dawn tomorrow? What do you think?" As soon as Yang Lin made this suggestion, everyone immediately looked up at the sky. After the series of events just now, the sky that was still slightly bright has completely darkened. Even the moon didn't know when it climbed up the ridge. Recalling the journey, everyone was immediately excited. Sheng Tianlong even echoed. Taoist Master Yang is right. Let's camp here tonight and return to the mountains early tomorrow morning. With his words, everyone present quickly took out camping tents and cooking utensils from their luggage. Not long after, a temporary camp was set up by them, and at the same time, wisps of smoke appeared in the camp. Just when Sheng Tianlong was about to invite Yang Lin to dinner, Yang Lin suddenly said, "Pandeo still has some things that need to be dealt with in the mountains. You don't need to worry about Pandeo." As soon as he finished speaking, he walked straight into the dense forest on the side and disappeared into the vast night. Although everyone was a little curious about what he was talking about, but they didn't dare to ask any more questions. The Yanglin on the other side immediately soared into the sky like a big bird after entering the dense forest, and climbed over the mountains one after another in a few leaps. When he appeared again, he was already in a quiet valley surrounded by mountains. Looking at the deserted valley, he casually cleared out a flat area. The next second he sat cross-legged, and the massive karma in his body was quickly transformed into mana by him like water bursting from a dam. Originally, his realm had reached the peak of the real person realm, but now with the influx of these newly transformed mana, the already stagnant realm suddenly rose up. But in the blink of an eye, Yang Lin felt a clarity in his mind, and a simple-looking seal was formed. And the existence of this spirit official seal also indicates that he has successfully crossed from the real person realm to the spiritual official realm. Perhaps because he had broken through to the Lingguan realm, the originally quiet valley suddenly became lively. Some small animals that were supposed to be hiding in dark corners all came out. Macaques, owls, squirrels, hedgehogs, giant snakes, and even a few spotted leopards. At this moment, each of these little animals came to Yang Lin's side like curious babies, their eyes full of curiosity. It seemed that they were wondering why the two-legged beast in front of them had an urge to get close to them. Even a braver owl landed directly on his shoulder. Yang Lin didn't care about this either. He had seen such a scene in his previous life. In his previous life, when he broke through to the spirit official realm, the noise was even louder than this. At that time, all the mountain elves and wild monsters came over to congratulate him. It's a pity that you are destined not to achieve enlightenment in this world. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind giving you a chance. After saying that, his attention shifted from those mountain animals. Now that he has broken through to a new realm, it means that he can cultivate a new magical power. And he had already made plans for this new magical power. That is the art of controlling objects. A small person can fly into the sky with a sword, a big person can move mountains and fill seas, and even pick up objects from the air. Thinking of this, he immediately stopped hesitating and started practicing silently as he recalled the key points of training in the art of controlling objects in his previous life. While Yang Lin was practicing his magical powers, dinner also started at the camp where Sheng Tianlong and others were on the other side. Although Yang Lin was not there, everyone in the program group was still invited into the tent. They thought they could only eat some compressed food in this deep mountain and forest. But they soon discovered that they were superficial. Among the people accompanying Sheng Tianlong, one of them was a chef in a 5-star hotel. Among the items he brought with him were not only various kitchen utensils, but also a large number of ingredients and condiments. There are some top-quality ingredients that can only be eaten in high-end hotels. After being processed by the chef, a table of delicious dishes was soon presented. Several members of the program crew were drooling at the sight. Hee, I knew I wouldn't be hungry if I followed Teacher Yang. It looks delicious. I don't know if the other groups will be able to eat now. I'm probably either eating box lunches or eating instant noodles. I'm so jealous of them. The night in the mountains is so beautiful. The sky is full of stars. It doesn't feel like I'm on a field trip, it feels like I'm on vacation. I also have this feeling. Just as they said, while they were enjoying the delicious dinner and the night in the mountains, the other groups of people were looking eagerly at them in the live broadcast room, eating barbecue and drinking high-end drinks. 1. Not only are they greedy, but several artists such as Xiaoyu, Hua Kunken, and others are also envious to the point of drooling. But as I looked at them, I noticed something was wrong. Huh? Look at those green dots on the far left of the camera. What are they? Fireflies. It's normal to have fireflies in the mountains. That's right, stop nagging. No, these green dots are all symmetrical, and the fireflies are much brighter than this. Based on my experience of living in rural areas for 20 years, this thing is definitely not a firefly, it looks like the eyes of something. Damn. It's a wolf. It's definitely a wolf. My family lives next to Shiwanda Mountain. There are many wolves in it, in groups. Stop eating, you are surrounded by wolves. That's right, you should take a look at the barrage. It's over, Yanglin is not here, they are dead. Just when everyone in the live broadcast room was feeling anxious for everyone present, the photographer suddenly noticed something was wrong. There seems to be movement over there. Did someone run over and take a dump? Hearing his words, the lighting engineer on the side quickly counted the number of people present. No, everyone is here. Wait a minute and I'll give you a light. After saying that, he took out the lighting equipment and shined it on the grass not far away. In the next second, ferocious and terrifying black shadows were exposed in the night. The smile on his face disappeared completely in an instant, and his whole body couldn't help but tremble. Wolf, there are wolves over there, so many wolves. As soon as he finished speaking, the expressions of everyone who was enjoying the sumptuous dinner suddenly changed. By the time they reacted, they were already tightly surrounded by dozens of wild wolves. The leader among them was a one-eyed wolf king. Judging from its ferocious expression, it had obviously been hungry for a long time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 159. In the deep mountains and forests, if there is an animal that you least want to encounter, it is probably a wolf. Because other carnivores usually act alone even if they encounter them, but wolves are different. Wolves usually live in packs, especially forest wolves. They will act as a team with the Wolf King as the core to ensure the success rate of hunting. At this moment, what surrounded the program crew was a wolf pack consisting of dozens of adult wolves. Almost as soon as the wolves were discovered, the atmosphere in the camp became weird. A trace of fear surged into my heart unconsciously. Even a veteran mercenary like Long Wu, who has experienced hundreds of battles, is no exception. Even the tactical dagger in his hand cannot bring him any sense of security. Damn it, are we so unlucky? How could we meet a pack of wild wolves here? Yeah, didn't you say that there haven't been wolves here in recent years? Who knows? The range of activities of creatures like wolves is too large. Maybe they just wandered here today. There are 15 of us in total, can we beat such an old wolf? How many wolves do you think you can kill by yourself? One end. Don't worry, we have brother Long Wu here, he has been on the battlefield. As he spoke, everyone turned their attention to Long Wu. When everyone saw this, Long Wu was stunned for a moment, and then a wry smile appeared on his face. You think too highly of me. If I had a heavy machine gun in my hand, I might be able to drive them away. But I have a dagger in my hand now, what do you want me to do? I can only kill 2 wolves at most, and don't think about fighting them. Once you are injured, the huge pain will make you lose your fighting power immediately. After hearing Long Wu's words, everyone couldn't help but feel a sense of despair. Even the most capable fighter here thinks he can only kill 2 wolves, so weak chickens like them are afraid that they will be mauled to death by the wolves as soon as they start fighting. Fortunately, at this time, the previous chef seemed to have thought of something and said loudly, Don't be afraid. Wolves are most afraid of fire. As long as we light torches and set up a fire ring around it, they won't dare to come in. As soon as these words came out, everyone seemed to be reminded, and a hint of joy instantly appeared in their eyes. Then, under the leadership of the chef, they used the firewood they had just used for cooking, plus some cloth and fuel to make simple torches. The result was indeed not beyond their expectations. When more than a dozen torches appeared, the wolves that were approaching step by step seemed to be frightened. Their hair exploded and they began to retreat. Seeing this scene, everyone became more and more delighted. Ha ha ha, it really works. They are really afraid of fire. As long as the torches in our hands are not extinguished, they will not dare to rush over. I thought I was dead this time. Come on, come here if you can. In the face of everyone's provocation, although the wolves were furious, they were helpless. However, they did not go far away, but always surrounded the crowd within 50 meters, looking directly at the crowd. Especially the one-eyed wolf king seemed to be thinking of some kind of strategy. In the process, everyone relied on the torches in their hands to continuously collect the dead branches and leaves scattered around to build a fire ring around it. The moment the fire ring was lit, the wolves were forced back again. Seeing such a result, not only everyone present breathed a sigh of relief, but even the audience in the live broadcast room was happy for them. I was scared to death. I thought I was going to see a pack of wolves having a buffet today. Wolves, thank you for nature's gifts. I thought they were dead, too. Probably not. Didn't Yang Lin just extend the life of the gambling king by 10 years? He wouldn't die now. Brother, you have to understand that it only extends your lifespan by 10 years. It does not mean that you will not die no matter what you do in these 10 years. What are you afraid of? It's just a pack of wolves. Just give me a weapon and I can kill one at will. That is to say, I am 185 centimeters tall and weigh 180 kilograms. I only weigh as much as a forest wolf. I can kill one with one hand. Blow, keep blowing. That being said, human size does have an advantage when facing wild wolves, but tell me how you can overcome the fear in your blood. Most people's first reaction when encountering one is to run away. This should be passed down from our ancestors who were killed by wolves. Also, you must be able to withstand the severe pain after being bitten by a wolf. If you can overcome these 2 points, you may be able to kill one with your bare hands. This is a pack of wolves. Who are you going to fight alone? One wolf bites your hand, another wolf bites your leg, and 4 wolves together can tear you alive. Do you believe it or not? Now, as long as their fire rings and torches are in their hands, the wolves should not attack at will. I don't know when they will leave. What if the fire ring and torches are extinguished? How can it be? As soon as everyone in the live broadcast room finished speaking, a flash of lightning suddenly illuminated the entire sky. With the appearance of this electric light, everyone in the camp who looked proud just now quickly raised their heads. Then, amid their stunned expressions, a loud rumbling sound was heard. At this point they admitted they were a little panicked. Especially when they saw the dark clouds gathering in their direction. All of this indicates one thing, that is, it will rain soon where they are. But what puzzled them was that the moon was still hanging in the sky, so why was it about to rain out of nowhere? This rain must be so unusual. Before they could react, another flash of lightning appeared, and when the second thunder sounded, raindrops also hit their faces. Touching the cold raindrops on their faces, everyone in the camp couldn't hold back at all. God, you are playing tricks on us. Why is it raining at this time? The weather forecast didn't say it. Don't worry about the weather forecast. What should we do now? If the torch gets wet later, we will be dead. What can I do? I can only wait to die. If there is a next life, I will never come to this kind of deep mountains and old forests again. While everyone was talking, the rain began to get heavier. And the fire ring they carefully constructed was extinguished by the rain before it could hold on for even half a minute. As for the torches in their hands, it soon repeated the same mistake. In an instant, the situation on the scene changed drastically. In their horrified eyes, the wolves that had been waiting for a long time could no longer bear the strong sense of hunger. After making a long and frightening roar, they charged towards their location. A breath of death also spread throughout the camp. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 160. In the camp, as everyone lost their last hope, they were completely desperate. Even Sheng Tianlong's face was full of bitterness at this moment. It took so much effort to finally complete the legendary seed foundation. I thought I could do something bigger in this world, but I didn't expect that I would be told by a group of beasts. Feeling unwilling and helpless in his heart, he thought of Yang Lin unconsciously. Of course, he was not the only one who thought of Yang Lin. Several members of the program team almost knelt on the ground to pray. Teacher Yang, come back quickly. If you don't come back, we will have to deal with you here. You, Teacher Yang, we miss you. If you don't come back, our show will come to an end. Just as they were praying that Yang Lin would come back to save them, a roar that resounded throughout the forest suddenly sounded around the camp. Everyone who was already in despair suddenly turned pale when they heard this roar. Because the roar just now was so recognizable. In the entire natural world, the only one with such a domineering roar is the legendary tiger, the king of the forest. Being surrounded by wolves was already troublesome enough, but now a tiger jumped out, wouldn't it cost them their lives? Just when they couldn't figure out why a tiger suddenly jumped out of here. In the dense forest to their left, there was a huge, colorful creature that slowly poked half of its body out of it. With a head as big as a wash basin, 4 limbs as thick as a small tree, and the clearly visible word on the top of his head, he was clearly an adult tiger. As for the specific species, no one knows yet. But no matter what kind of tiger it is, it can kill them easily. The appearance of this tiger immediately attracted the attention of the wolves. As if as a warning, the Wolf King made a threatening cry on the spot. But the tiger didn't seem to care, and continued to pace forward step by step. Just when its body completely emerged from the dark forest, everyone finally noticed something was wrong. Because no matter how they looked at it, they felt as if there was a person riding on the tiger's back. At first they thought it was an illusion. Until a bolt of lightning pierced the sky again. Against the background of the strong electric light, a familiar figure appeared in their sight. Surprisingly, it was Yang Lin who had left in a hurry before. At this moment, he was sitting cross-legged on the tiger's back. Even though the tiger was walking forward, his body never swayed at all. Even the raindrops that kept falling didn't leave any trace on his body. Seeing this scene, everyone even forgot about the approaching wild wolves, and the heavy rain that drenched them all. The audience in the live broadcast room was also shocked. Is this Yang Lin? He came back riding a tiger. It's incredible, how he did it. That's right, this is the king of the forest. Didn't you say that the tiger's butt can't be touched? How can he ride on the tiger's back? That's so cool. This way of appearing is just too cool, right? Yang Lin is here, now they are saved. It seems that God is destined not to let them die. But it's not easy for Yang Lin to deal with so many wild wolves. He can't kill them all. That's true, and if there is only one tiger, it shouldn't be able to deal with so many wild wolves. Just when they were all shocked by the way Yang Lin appeared, there was movement again in the originally peaceful forest. The next second, in the horrified eyes of everyone, one after another figures appeared in everyone's sight. Leopards, wild boars, black bears, giant pythons, and some animals that are rarely seen on ordinary days all gathered here as if they had received some kind of call. There are probably hundreds of them, including nearly 30 wild boars alone. The appearance of these animals once again plunged everyone into confusion. But what happened next made them let out a long sigh of relief. After these animals emerged, they immediately attacked the wild wolves. Under the leadership of those wild boars with rough skin and thick flesh, the animals rushed into the circle of wolves like a torrent of steel. Without even holding on for a single round, a large number of wild wolves were pushed out by the wild boars. And other animals do not eat dry food. Soon the wolves were beaten and fled in all directions, including the one-eyed wolf king. There's no way, they can't handle wild boars alone, let alone black bears and leopards, which are also at the top of the jungle food chain. In line with the principle that a good wolf should not suffer any immediate losses, they immediately fled in embarrassment as fast as they could in their lives. And as the wolves left, the crisis was resolved. Soon, only the people who were soaked in the water and Yang Lin riding on the back of the tiger were left. The scene fell into silence for a while. And everyone's eyes were fixed on Yang Lin. They wanted to know why those animals appeared here. But on second thought, the answer to this question doesn't seem that important at all. Because it was obvious that Yang Lin had done all this, and only he had such unpredictable means. After a while, Yang Lin jumped off the tiger's back. Then, under the spotlight of everyone, he gently touched the tiger's head. "Thank you for your hard work. I asked you to carry the poor road on your back. I will give you this elixir. I hope to see you again in the future." As he spoke, Yang Lin took out a pill from his sleeve and fed it into the tiger's mouth. And the tiger seemed to know that this elixir was a rare good thing, and a trace of gratitude suddenly appeared on his face. After letting out a whine, he turned around reluctantly and left, not forgetting to look back a few times before leaving. After a few minutes, he disappeared into the dense forest and rain again. After the tiger left, everyone who had been reluctant to speak breathed a sigh of relief. Who knows how much pressure they have to bear when facing a tiger? After finally catching their breath, they immediately walked towards Yang Lin. "Teacher Yang, you are finally back. I thought I would never see you again in this life." "Yeah, just now we all thought we were dead this time. But I always firmly believe that you will come to save us. You were so handsome when you came out riding a tiger. It's a pity that I forgot to take a picture of you. I didn't expect Taoist Master Yang to be capable of subduing dragons and subduing tigers. Those animals must have been controlled by Taoist Master Yang to help us. It's simply unbelievable. Such a strange thing, I will never forget it in my life." The words were full of admiration for Yang Lin. The audience in the live broadcast room on the other side could no longer hold back.